Welcome back to the Full Force Fathers podcast, episode number 90. Right back in the swing of things, Dave here. We had our college football reaction show, which filled last week, but right back into our numbers. Number 90, we're 10 away from 100, which is insane to think about. So how are you doing? Glad to know you're safe from tornadoes.
Yeah, we are safe, thankfully. Sadly, some folks had a really, really awful weekend down here in Tennessee and in Kentucky. So thoughts and prayers with them as they rebuild, and unfortunately 6 lives lost as well. So kind of a sad weekend here in Tennessee. But yeah, episode 90, here we are. 9 away from the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be the entire episode is Wayne Gretzky episode. It's going to be a show full of statistics. That's it. And
I got some surprises in store for that day, so I'm looking forward to it.
Let's talk for a second. It is unfortunate people did lose their lives this weekend due to Mother Nature. And I try to explain this to people all the time. Mother Nature, is 100% undefeated. She's never lost. She never will. She's just the almighty power. She's like God. She's undefeated. And it makes you sad because you don't want to see anyone lose their lives, and there's really no place safe for Mother Nature anywhere in this country, whether it's blizzards or it's hurricanes or it's tornadoes or it's ice storms, you name it, heat. You're not safe anywhere from her. You just have to respect the hell out of her. But this weekend with those tornadoes, your dad was there this past weekend, and I had good friends in Louisville, Kentucky over the weekend for the cross-country national championship for the United States Track and Field Association. We had a couple of girls that my girls are friends with that were competing in the national championship, and talk about miserable. They had cloudy, rain, fear of thunderstorms trying to get their cross-country race in. And I spoke with father, and he said they literally barely got out of town before those tornadoes hit to where they could get on a plane and get out of town to get home. When those tornadoes went ripping through, he got out of Louisville, and I think their connector actually was in Nashville, and they were able to get out of town. So God bless them, them safe, and our hearts go out to anybody that gets affected by the weather out there or anywhere for that matter.
Yeah, we're so used to growing up in the Northeast having blizzards, the very rare hurricane, those types of things. But those are coming, right? It's like, okay, I can make plans to prepare myself for that. Tornadoes scare the shit out of me because there's virtually no warning and the path is completely undecided. So it's terrifying thing. I don't enjoy being a part of that here in Tennessee, but it is what it is. Here we are.
Yeah, you just got to deal with it. Yeah, but like you said, that's the scary thing. When a hurricane's coming, when a blizzard's coming. When those things are happening, you usually have some advance, and when frigid temperatures are coming for those that live, and when the heat's coming. So, but tornadoes, they seem to always wreck them. They wreck you in the middle of the night, and you never know. You just don't know when, how, who, what. It's just they're a random act of Mother Nature violence, and they're terrifying and they're terrible all throughout. But without further ado, let's hop into episode 90. I love the numbers that are on this list. I mean, it's obviously the precursors. It's all football. We know that. But dude, there is some absolute studs on this list.
There are, shockingly, none of them in the Hall of Fame yet.
There will be.
They will.
Yes.
But they're not there yet. No number 90s in the Hall of Fame. I was actually shocked by that. Shocked. But the first one on the list, none other than the great Julius Peppers. Dude had 159.5 sacks, 557 solo tackles, 52 forced fumbles in 266 games. 4th all-time in sacks. And he is up for nomination into the Hall this year.
Yeah, and he just got past the 3rd round, actually. So he made it to the semifinals. So I don't see any reason why he's not on there. He doesn't get in there. He's unbelievable. Complete freak of nature, Julius Peppers. Played in the Super Bowl with the Panthers. Everybody forgets he went to the University of North Carolina, was a 2-sport athlete. He played both football and he played on the North Carolina men's basketball team, which is hard to do in the 2000s, considering how much you have to put on one sport when you choose that path. But the fact that he played for the basketball team and the football team and got drafted by the Panthers and was an unbelievable player, part of that roster, unreal.
And especially football at North Carolina. Like, it's not like it's a lower tier school, man. They're always competing for national championships. So to be a basketball player on the Tar Heels program, that's saying something. That's pretty big.
Yeah, and you know what's the most impressive thing I think about is these defensive linemen are big and fast and strong, but they're not tall. Usually they're not very tall. So to play basketball at North Carolina with, in the Dean Dome with all that history, the Duke-North Carolina rivalry, obviously we know North Carolina is a basketball school. What have they put out in terms of football? I mean, Mitch Trubisky hasn't had the best NFL career. And also this kid coming out of there this year, Drake May, who's probably going to be the number 2 pick behind Caleb Williams. Other than that, they're not known for their football. They're definitely known for their basketball. And this kid, I remember that defensive line. I really wished I was rooting for him hard to beat the Patriots in that Super Bowl that year, dude. You had Buckner, you had Peppers, you had Rucker, you had Steve Smith, DeLome. That team, I just wanted them to win a Super Bowl so bad when they played the Patriots. Mm-hmm. But hey, Brady's the GOAT for a reason. And Julius Peppers.
Yep.
He will be a Hall of Famer, along with the next 2 or 3 names you're about to run off are going to be Hall of Famers too.
Yeah. So you heard the number there for Peppers. 266 games, 159.5 sacks, okay? The next guy on the list, TJ Watt, okay? 98 games, 91 sacks, 26 forced fumbles, 274 solo tackles. That was before this weekend. I don't know if he did anything this weekend, so I might have to go back and check it out. But, dude, I mean, those are ridiculous numbers. I mean, flat out ridiculous.
And everyone thought JJ was the best defensive brother. TJ is going to go down as the best defensive Watt, I think, in my opinion. I mean, at the pace that he's going right now, at the pace he's going, he's going to go down.
Yeah.
He'll be a Hall of Famer. He'll probably be the better of the Watt brothers, which is taking nothing against JJ because JJ's going to be a Hall of Famer too. But the next one on that list, he's kind of like, you almost want to put an asterisk next to his name a little bit. He was a Heisman finalist at Nebraska. Everybody forgets that. He was a Heisman finalist at Nebraska. And that was really the end of any decent Nebraska football after he left. And Ndamukong Suh, long career, 199 games, 71.5 sacks, 392 total solo tackles, 7 forced fumbles, but countless dumb, boneheaded plays, stepping on people, dirty plays. I mean, raw talent. Everyone, defensive tackle, not a defensive end. So you're not racking up the sack numbers, but you're drawing a lot of double teams that give these guys sacks. But just I wish wasn't such a POS sometimes on the field. I know it's a competitive game and it's a freaking man's game for sure. But man, what his reputation would have been if he wasn't such a scumbag sometimes on the field.
Yeah, you're not kidding. He had a lot of raw talent, like you said, but it was just always something with that dude. It really was. It was always something. So kind of a shame that all that talent, and that's what you remember him for.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's what everybody remembers him for. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. The last one I put on the list, current player, DeMarcus Lawrence for the Dallas Cowboys. Through 131 games, he's got 58.5 sacks, 264 solo tackles, and 19 forced fumbles. Dude's legit. When you think about before Micah Parsons came to that team, he was the guy. He was the guy. He's had big shoes to fill in for. He came in after DeMarcus Ware was there, some all-timers at defensive end. So he's been great. Love watching him play. He's got a hell of a motor on him, gets after it. And I think he's deserving of making this list.
Yeah, for sure he deserves to be on that list. No doubt about it whatsoever. But back up, one more thing I want to mention about Ndamukong Suh. At least he's got the ring of this group. He has the Super Bowl ring because everyone forgets he did go down to Tampa Bay and win a ring for Brady when Brady did win his ring. Ndamukong Suh did get the ring there, and that's something that all these other Hall of Famers on this list can't say. Peppers didn't get a ring. TJ Watt so far doesn't have a ring. DeMarcus Lawrence. So it is one thing about Suh that we can't add to this is he is the one guy on here that does have the hardware to go along with all his other accolades that he won in college and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but that's the football list.
No doubt about it.
I mean, you can't ask for a better front four. Imagine that was your front four. You put you could put Peppers on one end, TJ Watt on the other, but TJ can go to the middle too if you had to. And then you put DeMarcus Lawrence, you just Ndamukong Suh just wrecking the middle. Just let him wreck the middle and get the center in a guard. Oh man,
crazy.
Good stuff. But was there any other sports that had number 90?
There was one player from the NBA. This guy felt like he was around forever. Drew Gooden.
Kansas.
Drew Gooden. He averaged 11 a game, 7 rebounds a game, and over 790 career games. So, solid NBA career. Drew Gooden. What was it? Was it mostly with the Cavaliers? Was it all with the Cavs?
Well, he moved around. He moved around a little bit, but yeah, I mean, he did play. He did play for the Cavaliers for a number of years. Hey, he made a nice long career after he played for Kansas. Allen Fieldhouse, but he played. So I got his career up right here. He played for the Memphis Grizzlies, the Orlando Magic, the Cavaliers, the Bulls, the Kings, the Spurs, the Mavericks, the Clippers, the Bucks, and the Wizards.
I think it might have been easier to name the teams he didn't play for.
And he really liked the number 90 because in his career, he wore 3 separate numbers: 0, 9, and 90.
It's great.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Awesome. That's Drew Gooden. There we are.
That's phenomenal. But yeah, that's your numbers. I mean, outside of the defensive line, we knew there wasn't going to be much there, but there's 4 pretty good names we threw at you there in terms of the defensive line in the NFL. But your Bible verse today is coming from the Old Testament, my friend. We are going way back to the book of Exodus. And that comes from Exodus 34:21. And I want to talk about this for a second, and we can expand on it. Because I think this country that we live in right now is so sideways, but I think we need to get back to some of this Old Testament living. And it comes Exodus 34:21. 6 days you shall labor, but on the 7th day you shall rest. Even during the plowing season and harvest, you must rest. And I think we are so far gone from that Bible verse right there in this country. It is unbelievable. We are in a world that's so lazy, you know what I mean? You would think, it's crazy to me. Like, we were joking around about it just yesterday. Andy and I were talking about, because the chickens, 2 of the girls are most, high output earners or givers, I should say, didn't lay yesterday. And Andy goes, "It's the Sabbath. Read the Bible." They must have read the Bible. And I started laughing. I got a chuckle, and it made me go back to think, we got to just, take the lazy libs out of the equation here and take the hardworking conservatives, hardworking Americans, hardworking Christians. And I think we live in this right here, right now world that everything has to be done yesterday. And I see it a lot in my business. Like, people want pre-qualifications and they want approvals and they want all that shit on a Sunday at 4 p.m. No, you have to have a designated day for rest. You do get tired after a while. And, and the Bible said, the Bible, it's clearly in the Bible in more than one place. The 7th day is the Sabbath, man. It's God's day. Use it, spend it with your family. And you shouldn't be out there laboring and doing things, and you forget your roots a lot in this world that we live in. So that's why I put that one in there today, because it really struck a chord yesterday when Andy and I were talking about it on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's one that I fall prey to myself. It's very easy to just get caught up and have so many things that you feel like you need to do in the course of a week, a day. And sometimes I really struggle with doing that and shutting it off. And I know it's something that I need to work on. It's something that I certainly want to work on more as we cross over into the new year and look towards goals and things like that, because it's very easy to lose sight of what's truly important, and to spend time really with God, with Jesus in the Bible, and making time for that as part of our rest.
Yeah, and this doesn't mean for all you lazy assholes out there that don't do anything in general. You don't need a rest day because you don't do shit. I'm talking about hardworking people that are providing for their families, in this world where it's so hard to get caught up in it.
It's not a rest day to go and just watch football all day either.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, we were, I'll give you a glimpse into what my Sunday looked like yesterday. My Sunday yesterday was a complete home day. We did have to run out, which I'm guilty of it. We ran out to Tractor Supply because we needed to get chicken feed and a couple things, but other than that, it was a day where we woke up, we made a good, Andine had baked a quiche with farm fresh eggs from our backyard, and we had bacon, and we had a good morning together as a family. We all hung out together, and we spent the entire day outside because it was 70 degrees here in Tucson and gorgeous. And it was the most relaxing of Sundays where we just didn't have to worry about anything, and I computer, I kept my computer closed yesterday, which I find hard to do. And what I've been doing as of late on Sundays, this last couple months now, I've been doing what I call a social free Sunday. So I don't do social media on Sunday purposely, because it's just another distraction, right? It's another distraction that takes you and pulls you in, and then you're looking at your phone. So for the last couple of months now, Sundays have been social free Sundays. So, that's just a glimpse of what my Sunday was like. I know you had a great Sunday, and it's one of the things I wanted to touch base with is your dad was in town. So let's segue right into that. How was the trip? It was a very short trip.
Yeah, it was short, but it was great. He got in Thursday. This was my first weekend not traveling in a very long time, so it was nice to just be home in general. But then him and Denise were able to come down and spend the weekend with us. We enjoyed going to some local family sort of events here. They have a Dickens Festival in Franklin, which was a lot of fun. We went and did that. We celebrated his birthday, which was this weekend as well. That was Friday, so we did that. Overall, we just had a really great time. I got to watch the Cowboys beat the snot out of the Eagles with him last night. It's not often we get to watch a game together, but we got to watch Sunday Night Football together. So it was great, man. I always love getting to spend some time with my dad. And one thing I have noticed about being closer to the East Coast is he's able to get here a lot easier than he was to Tucson. So we've seen each other a lot this year, which has been amazing. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome that your dad. I've always been envious of that because your dad likes to travel, and come to you. My dad's a little bit more in the old school, doesn't like to leave the plantation, but it's always a good time. I love your father. You know that. I always text him. It was his birthday. Got a text right back. Got to see him on FaceTime, which is always an added bonus for us, because your dad and I, Dave just gets, I know, just deep down, he just gets the slightest bit jealous of the relationship that his father and I have together, because we like to talk about camping and those types of things. And Dave's like a girl, and he doesn't like to talk about camping and everything else. So, deep down inside, I try to call him when Dave's around on purpose, just so he can hear us talking about things that Dave has no interest in. He's, but it's good. Your dad's a great guy. I'm glad.
He did say this weekend, he's like, oh, yeah, I was like, I heard Brett text you this morning, wish you a happy birthday. He's like, yep. He's like my second son. I was like, okay, pump the brakes here.
I wonder if he's writing me in the will soon.
Never know.
Oh, man. Because let me tell you, if you guys don't know nothing about Dave, if you don't know nothing about Dave by now, then you haven't listened. I'm sure when Dave said we went to the Dickens Festival twice, I'm sure Dave was so over the top excited to go to the Dickens Festival twice.
Yeah, very excited. The Dickens Festival.
Oh, man. Good old Dickens. So listen, I'm just glad that your dad was there and you got to spend some good quality time with him. You do. It's important. Your kids see that. It's super, super important. Bryce, he's so good to your kids, and your kids love when he's around, which is just an added bonus. And Casey, everyone, it was good for his lady friend to come down as well and get to Tennessee, get out of Connecticut, even though they've had a pretty mild winter so far. I know we're only midway through December, but the fact of the matter is they've lucked out so far so good. But I'm sure he was just thrilled to fly home to 3 to 5 inches of rain that they weren't going to get.
Yeah, he was talking about that when he got down here. He was like, can't wait to go home and swim through the basement. So
oh man,
he hasn't gotten home yet. So we'll see. We'll see when he does what that situation was like. But yeah, always great. Spend time with my dad, and yeah, it's just it was great, man. No, sad that he's gone, but happy he was here.
One more question on your dad. How early did you have to get him to the airport for the flight home?
Dude, big news. I dropped him off for a 7:10 flight at 5:25, which was big news because normally we got to be there precisely 2 hours before. But he did make note to text me and tell me he made it to the gate just in time before they boarded the flight, 10 minutes early. I was like, see, plenty of time. We had another 10 minutes to spare.
Oh my God, he broke the 2-hour mark for a flight. That's amazing. I'm gonna go buy a lotto ticket.
Yeah, we broke the 2-hour mark, which was incredible. Although I could tell he was a little nervous in the morning because when I got up to take him to the airport, he wanted to leave at 4:45. I was like, okay, we'll leave at 4:45. We get up, pull my car out of the garage, load it all up, get the suitcases in. We pull out onto the road. All of a sudden, my thing comes on that I got a flat tire. And my run flats around. It says you can't go over 50 miles an hour. So I was like, uh-oh. So it's like, we're going to have to turn this rig around. So we spin around, had to go back and get Casey's car. And we had a hard freeze. So I had to scrape the windshield. The car was cold. Had to move the bags over. I just tell he's like, oh boy.
So the reason you didn't make the 2 hours is because of you had a flat tire, else he would have been there well over 2 hours before.
No. This was in addition to that. So we had planned to not be there 2 hours early.
Oh.
So this was on top of it. So I had to make up some time on the highway. So, there we go.
Well, listen, I am glad you had a great time and a great time, short week with your dad. We are finally healthy again. Last Sunday, so, this gets released on Tuesday. So a week and 2 days ago, Madison had woke up with a sore throat and didn't think anything of it. It was just a sore throat. We're like, all right, we're good. And that fucking thing spiraled from a sore throat to a fever to aches to just full on like flu-like symptoms. And then Monday night, I all of a sudden got cold and I couldn't get warm. And I'm like, oh no, here we go. And then Tuesday, Andine, and like, dude, she brought home the sickness. She gave it to me. And Andine, we both were knocked out. Andine, quickest turnaround. She had about 1 day where she felt like crap. I had a full 48 hours of miserableness, 72 before I actually started to feel normal, and 4 days of coughing and nastiness. And I finally this past weekend was able to hammer out some hard workouts again after, Monday through Friday of last week not being 100%. Thursday morning, Caroline wakes up sick. And then the icing on the cake. My poor baby, Miss Finn, she was the only one to stay healthy the whole week. And she freaking fought like hell, happier than a pig in shit, went to school every day, healthy. Well, Friday at about 11 o'clock, my phone rings and it's the school. And it's the nurse. And I'm like, oh, this can't be good. And she freaking puked at school. I brought her home, ran down there, got her, brought her home. She puked all afternoon Friday until Friday night. There was nothing that baby could keep down. No liquids, no electrolytes, no crackers, you name it. It could have plain dry toast. There was nothing. Something caught that baby's stomach and turned her sideways. And there was absolutely nothing we could do about it until she was done puking. She fell asleep. She puked for anything she ate or drank for about 7 hours on Friday afternoon. She fell asleep on the couch on Friday night at 6:45. She did not wake up until 6:45 Saturday morning. So whatever it was, she slept it off. She woke up Saturday morning perfectly fine, ready to go, other than she was starving. I wonder why. And she was able to battle through a 20, not even a 24, hers more like a 12-hour bug that knocked her out. And then Caroline, of course, was the last one to get it. And She took her 4 days. And the problem with this one is it's been a cough. It's been the cough. It's been the ever-existent cough that just won't go away. Now, granted, Madison's a week plus, no cough anymore, but Andine and I had a lingering cough for 4 or 5 days. Finley was the only one that got a stomach. So I'm thinking Finley's sickness was completely different than what they got. But whatever it was, kung fu flu, regular flu, you name it. And you know me, I don't get sick pretty much ever. Every once in a while I'll get the stomach bug will affect me and I'll be on the toilet for a day or whatever. But the fact that something actually got a hold of me and knocked me down for 48 hours straight, really 72 if you include everything, that was one germ that was very, very potent. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you don't get sick often, so that was surprising to hear. But thankfully, you guys are all on the mend. Nothing worse than when your kids are sick, man. That's just, especially when you're sick on top of it. That's brutal.
Yeah, that's the worst part. When you're sick on top of your sick kids, you really are helpless. They're already helpless, and then if you're, in this one for me, it was the temperature issue. Just being so unregulated, hot, cold, sweat through my clothes. All of a sudden, I'm freezing. We talked about it, dude. One night I went to sleep with, I was freezing cold. I went to sleep with a hoodie on and like pajama pants and socks. And I woke up at 4:00 in the morning and Andine asked me if I pissed the bed because I sweat through everything. I took my clothes off and literally they hit the tile floor and they made a wet ring on the floor. We had to wash the sheets and all I did was sweat. So, dude, more important now than ever. Thank God I'm a healthy human and I do preventative maintenance every day. But man, I can imagine if this sickness ran through a household that overweight, unhealthy, doesn't take care of themselves, like what it would have done, because look at what it did to me and look what it did to my kids we all are the models of health. So crazy shit. But we are, like I said, Dave said, we're all on the mend, which is the important part, and getting slightly better each and every day. Like I said, that the 2 workouts last 2 mornings were the 2 that realized, okay, I'm back. I was able to hammer weight vest, you name it. But it's just another reminder of winter is here. And just be prepared, make sure you're taking apple cider vinegar, honey, lemon, zinc, vitamin D, getting it on your skin every day. I don't care if it's cold out, go outside, because it's super, super important to make sure at this time of the year that you are healthy, because there's just kids are bringing, remember, this is the first full year essentially since kids have been back, and now the germs are back and kids bring home shit every day from picking stuff up. They put their hands in their mouths. I mean, it's just, just make sure you're doing everything you can to stay healthy.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. But there was one other thing I did want to touch base on today, and I was just on the phone with Frank, my cousin. We've known him our whole lives. You went to school with him and whatnot. So we were talking about the NFL today. After yesterday's, Niners are rolling. Cowboys just beat the shit out of the Eagles, which is always good to see. Makes you happy. Gives you a little notch in your cap.
Does.
A week after we blew them out, then you blew them out. It's awesome to see, but we were primarily talking about the Bills and the Chiefs game, which was, Josh Allen only has a few great years left, and I feel like they're just wasting him in Buffalo right now. They've been so close to the thing. Mahomes has had his number in the playoffs. They can't get over the hump. Last year they were a dumpster fire. That dumpster fire has rolled into this year. I mean, they're 7-6. They just won in Kansas City, and I really wanted to talk about that game, not even the game, but I wanted to bring up something that I think is true. And, a lot of people will probably say, Brett, you're crazy. But when you let an outside distraction, like their record's not the same. Statistically, they're not the same. Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL. But I want to, more importantly, just say, I'm so over the NFL being especially ESPN, they are literally just an arm of the Democratic Party in the liberal world. Like Taylor Swift, whatever. I'm happy for her as a human. I don't agree with her politics or anything like that. But there is no denying that has become a distraction for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. I don't care what anybody says. It has been a full-blown dumpster fire in Kansas City. They can't score points. Travis Kelce's numbers are significantly down. I know he had an injury being in the year, but he still played. And ever since they've made that mainstream, it has become a clown. It's a circus. every time they turn the camera, they have to turn it to her in the press box or the skybox. Every time they score a touchdown, it's her in the press box. Every time he catches the ball, it's her in the press box. Every time you open up ESPN, it's a picture of her at the game. And it's just become such a four-alarm fire and such a distraction. He went to Argentina during the season. He went to one of her concerts. She's been going all over the globe with him, blah, 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 blah. I don't care what anybody says. When you are dating somebody as big a star, and I will never take that away from her, she is a absolute megastar, one of probably the most 10 popular people in the entire world right now. It is a distraction whether you want to believe it or not. You automatically have 10x cameras at every single game because now you are pulling in an entirely different crowd that is not a football crowd to watch football games because of someone who's in the freaking skybox. Call me crazy. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy at all. I mean, it's absurd, and it's during the broadcast, it's after the broadcast, it's all the time. Yesterday, I flipped open my Fox News app after all the games were done, and out of the 40 headlines that show up on your scroll of Fox News on their app, 7 of them were related to the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. 7 of the 40. It was ridiculous. Everywhere you go, that's all you see, all you hear about, and it just doesn't matter. I just don't understand like why this is such a thing. Like, I realize, yes, she is a mega star. There's no doubt about it. What's sad, though, is that this is what the majority of society cares about. Who is dating who. And it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. And it is definitely affecting the way the Chiefs are performing on the field. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's definitely affecting the way they operate. And I think the line of the day goes to none other than the great Tony Romo. By the way, side note, he's the greatest broadcaster that's ever been they've ever put a mic in someone's face. He's the best. I wish Tom Brady the best next year when he goes to Fox in the $300 million contract. I wish him all the best. He will never, dude, Tony Romo is so good. That dude is good at whatever he does. Golf, football, commentating. He is amazing on the mic. And he had the greatest line yesterday in that football game. Travis Kelce caught a ball or there was a touchdown or something. And the camera panned over to Taylor Swift. Shocker. And what does Tony Romo say on national television? Oh, there's Travis Kelce's wife, Taylor Swift. He goes, and I just about spit whatever I was drinking out. I'm like, dude, Romo is the man. And like 2 seconds later, totally unapologetic, he goes, I just want to say, I meant to say Travis's girlfriend, not wife. And he's just dying laughing in the booth with Nance because he doesn't care because he's so good at what he does. He can say whatever he wants. That dude, I don't care if you're a Cowboys fan, you hate the Cowboys, love them, you like Romo, you hate him. That dude calls the plays out before they even happen. It is unbelievable how good he is. It's unbelievable.
I thought for a long time it was just because he had just come out of the game, and just had such a feel for all the teams with all the tape he's watched. But it's clearly that he's just that good because he still does it. He knows exactly what's going to happen every single time.
Dude, I want him calling all major sports. I want him calling the golf majors. They need to let him go to Augusta. When Nance calls the Masters, he has to have Romo with him. That is something that CBS and Augusta National, they should put something in his contract. He's already working for CBS anyways. He should be on the 18th with Nance every Sunday at Augusta calling shots because guaranteed he's going to call a golf match the same way he calls a football match. He's going to be talking about which play he's using, which club he's using, what kind of spin he's going to put on the ball, exactly where he's going to put the ball. He should be calling everything.
I don't disagree with you. He could make everything better.
Yeah, he is so good on camera. He's great on camera too. He's not listen, ladies, he's pretty good on the eyes too. He's not bad on the eyes. So, it's a hell of a thing, but the whole point of this was the Taylor Swift thing is a complete distraction to the Chiefs. And unless they figure it out, like, I'm sorry. Yep. If I was dating Taylor Swift, it would become a distraction in my life. I wouldn't be taking loan applications the same way that I take them as if I was dating Taylor Swift or not. I'm just putting that out there.
No, I would say that's probably a definite. Yes.
Yeah. But anyways, you got anything else you want to touch base on today's episode?
No, that was it, man. It was a good episode, episode 90. We're very close to the holidays, everybody. Less than 2 weeks till Christmas, which means we're less than 3 years or three weeks till the start of the new year. So start thinking about those goals. We're not going to say resolutions. We're going to talk about goals because things that you're going to accomplish in the course of 2024. I think that's probably a good place for us to go on our next episode as we look to wrap up 2023.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. So, yeah, we appreciate it. Share the show, like the show, reach out, comment, whatever you... Do you think Taylor Swift is a distraction? Yes or no? I don't know. Send me an email. Send me a text. Send Dave a text. I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. But, Dave, show 90's in the books. Take us home, and we will catch you next week.
Yeah, everybody, get out there, continue to live the full forest life. We'll see you next week.